What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Our Perspectives. This is the 72nd episode of the show. My name is Holden Stefan Roy, and I'm here with Liddy Bro Flacco. And today it looks like we're going to be talking about the year and just kind of thinking about the year in the future, past, present, as a whole topic of conversation as we start the fourth quarter of the year tomorrow. So this is usually like the planning quarter of the year for most businesses, as they try to like get themselves ready for the 2025 calendar year. I'm pretty sure a lot of companies' fiscal years just ended. So in company land, it's basically New Year's Day for a lot of companies. Um, yeah, so we're here, and we are excited to be back with another week with you. So to get things started, Flacco, why don't you, shoot, I gotta just get the recording going on. But why don't you, while I set that up, let us know what is happening what happened this week for you?
Recording in progress.
The last week was a lot of doing some odd jobs, getting in the studio again with Jess James Figueroa, working on some Liddy Bros music and finishing out some songs that we never finished out. And chilling with the wife, hanging out.
Nice.
Work,
Yeah,
work.
I
We watched that Menendez Brothers series,
is it
which
good?
is not getting as much love as the Dahmer, but I would argue that I would just say that the guy, because apparently the person behind the Menendez brothers series is also the same guy that was behind the Dahmer series. And what I
Right.
will say is that this guy is a phenomenal showrunner. Like, he knows how to put together a really good show. Um, it just made me it, first off, it made me realize I didn't know much about that trial except for what I remember as a little kid. Um,
Right.
Secondly, it just made me question a bunch of shit related to the trial. Third, all of those actors, I can easily see them getting huge things after this.
Fair
They
enough.
really did. They really did a great job with the acting. I saw I mean, Unilad is not like the source, right? But or it is the source of the thing that I'm about to talk about, but I wouldn't like rely on them for much. But they did like highlight that there's this scene, this 33-minute scene with one of the actors where like there's no cuts. It's just the actor acting on screen for like I think it's like 33 minutes. It might be less, but it's a long time on screen with no cut in the scene. So it's just him acting nonstop for a whole scene. Um, and he delivers a master class on acting and how to execute something like that. I've always found shit like that interesting, like movies that are based in like one setting, the entire movie. Like there's a movie with Robert Redford where he's on a sailboat stuck at sea, and really there's not much talking because in a sailboat stuck at sea by yourself, you don't do much talking. There's nobody to talk to.
Right.
So like it's a but like shit like that. There's also this movie called Carnage where two couples, just the whole movie's in a living room and two couples having a argument and disagreement about their children at school. Um, but I love shit like that. Like, it just speaks to the caliber of writing and the caliber of acting that it takes. I really don't take much in the realm of direction. And that point, I mean, the director is gonna be pivotal in things like that, but the director of photography is really like, what are we talking about here? Like, you're just capturing. I guess it does show how talented a director of photography would be, right? For them to capture a one room setting movie for an hour and a half or however long a movie lasts and it not to get tiring. I guess they're also to be applauded. But really, I hang all of movies, all the credit for movies like that on the actors and the writing, because that's what really shines through the most. The director, I guess I would need to be privy to what he did in the background and how much direction he gave the actors to give him credit. But really, I do lie most of those type of movies on the writing and the actors. And so this scene just was like a really good scene, and it just showed the actors' chops and the writers' chops, and it was just really good. Um, and Unilad usually covers like things that are going viral ish. So
Right.
I figured that if they covered it, it must be semi being talked about on the internet. What's up, Lindell? What's up, Chris Chrome? What's up, Ban Ban?
Right. Yeah, I know. So you basically watched movies and made music.
The weekend, yep, made movies, hung out, made music. I mean, made movies. Yeah, actually, you know what? Watched movies, made movies, hung out, made music, worked. Yeah,
Nice.
yep. Hmm. How about
Um,
you, Holden? How was your week?
it was good. I did some food shooting. Um, and through that, I met this guy who might become a new supplier for future clothing endeavors because he's really excited about getting started with this. Like he bought all the gear to do like proper clothes printing, but more he wants to like just work with people and make it more of a fun collaborative process because he's doing it for shits and giggles. And I'm like, well, that's exciting. Otherwise, I ended up doing 2 shows this weekend, one of which was expected, and I went down to the middle of nowhere, Laval, which is the island above Montreal. But it was really like a newly developed area that looked like it was like a box had been cut out of the wilderness and houses were still appearing. And it was a very French show, and it was definitely a different experience than I'm normally accustomed to.
And
But yeah, people,
people that smoke like this.
nah, because it's Quebec. It's not like
I
France
mean,
French.
oh, okay.
It's a diff. It's a yo. France will act like we like the low class, right? Like we
We,
low
we,
class French.
we.
Yeah,
No, but
it's not like
you are though.
yeah.
That's how the
So
English act about
nobody be
everyone that
acting like
used to be.
bougie like that.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm saying like, England tries to pretend. I was just watching Green Street Hooligans, right, which is like from like the early 2000s, old movie, and they were doing the whole gag of like the American being in England, and the English dude was really talking some like, oh, we have to come save your asses. We have to come save your asses in another war. And then you kill our soldiers. And but I'm like, why would the British in 2000 anything be under the impression, even coming out of the 90s, that they're saving America? Like, but I don't give a fuck, right? Like, I'm not gung ho American like that. Like, I could care less. But also, let's be honest, right? Like, if I tell you what country on earth spends the most money on their military, who are you going to say? There's only one
So it's
fucking name.
America.
That's like being like, oh, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? People are probably going to be like Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Who's the greatest boxer of all time? They're going to probably be like Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? It's like who spends the most money on war and is like the war machine king. And it's like, oh, that's a super simple question. You ask anyone around the
Let's
world,
be
they're gonna be
honest.
like, America,
Who sells the most
United States.
guns on the planet
Right,
to other people
right,
that they then concede that they then proceed to beef with?
right, right. America. And so the point
America.
being, America. So the point being, like, America usually wins its wars. You know what I mean? So like I
Yeah.
don't know why, but the gag is there because that's the gag, right? Like to British people, America, Jamaica, uh, Australia, they all speak broken English. They speak a broken version of the Queen's English, and the Queen's English is the only real English, and the only real English people on earth
To be
are
fair,
English people.
I do think that the U.S. speaks a slightly worse English than Canada. With our we put extra U's and shit in our words. I have to argue
I
with
mean,
spell check all the time.
that's one of those like it depends on where you are from, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't use those views, right? Los Angeles people don't use you like that, right? That's like a
No, I mean
Baltimore
it's
thing. That's a
like
Southern
let's say you
thing.
take the word favor,
Midwest,
right? You spell it
North, North
FAVOR,
Midwest.
and we
Hmm.
spell it FAVOUR.
Yeah, but that's like a French thing.
Nah, that's a British thing. That's some like shit Canada got from British English because we have like a mix of America and British in our culture. But the extra U is definitely like the British English.
Word. I mean, I don't know what I would have thought that's like just like a French thing, even regardless of
Nah,
you,
like
right? Like
the whole of Canada does it.
whenever I see OURE and like when Americans just skip, same thing with color, right? Couleur. Um to me that just always was a French thing. I didn't know if that was a British thing. I
So
mean,
O U
regardless
R
though,
E is French because now if adding the extra E goes French, but British English just like for anything that's like favor or all of those kinds of sounds, it's not O R for us, it's O U R, and it's like across the board. So like, there's just a few things like that where like I'm cognizant of it because like I have to when I write for American shit, if it's ever for work, you have to like un-Canadianify the English and make sure
right.
it's like American English, so it's like slightly different. But nah, Quebec French is basically dirty French to France. Is just how it be,
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
especially
trying to
to
say. You know
Paris.
what I mean? All
But
the
those
colonies of the original conquistadors, conquering um countries, which are the European countries, England, Spain, France, uh, Amsterdam, the Dutch, um, uh,
right, but I have to
Italy, I think,
say
is even a part of it too.
there's this big advantage I've come to realize, or a huge difference between performing towards people that speak your language and people that don't speak your language. When you rap at people, especially with rap, when you rap at people who speak your language, all they're really caring about for the most part, like they care about the flow and the musicality, but I find they like focus so much on the bars and what you're saying and if what you're saying is impactful. But I could tell you one thing, them French motherfuckers did not understand me when I'm rapping in English the way I did not really understand them when like you can kind of understand it, but like when it's coming fast and it's rapped and it's all this other shit, like it's wild hard to translate it. So you're kind of just evaluated on your musicality because that's all they can do. They can't break down your bars. They can't tell you if you are a good writer or not. They can just tell you that they like your flow and your delivery, or they like your performance, or they like your style, but they can't actually tell you about your bars. And it's such an interesting litmus test for music to perform to people that can't understand what you're saying. And I don't think enough people in my city do that. I think we kind of stick to our language, but like it's kind of it was a really interesting experience. Like I fucked with their performances even if I didn't get it, because you could be like, yo, that guy knows how to perform. You know what I mean? Like you could see all of that. You just actually don't know what they're rapping about fully. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean,
super interesting.
Dub being around for 24 years, definitely have experienced that every year that we had the uh, World Championship finals and shit, and people from other countries would come over and rap, and I'm not understanding anything you're saying. But I mean, that's always kind of like been like the vibe, right? Like, I don't know what the fuck they're saying in Ichima, right? I don't know what they're saying in a bunch of music from a bunch of countries that I listen to, but it doesn't really matter. All that really matters is like where's your pocket? Like, what does this sound like? What's the flow? Is there anything that I can memorize that, like, I don't know what I'm saying, but I can feel like I'm sort of saying something along with the song? That's it. You won me over.
Yeah. It was just an interesting experience. And then Bonnie and I went to go film at some ramen place in the South Shore. And then while I was there, I got texted about a next show that this guy threw together last minute in my neighborhood. So I went to that because, I mean, the shit was a 7-minute drive away. It was like pop in, pop out kind of distance. And then the venue owner was like, yo, my Thursday nights are open. So if you want to like do something, you can just have my Thursday nights. I was like, well, that's interesting. I don't know what I'd do with it right now, but it's good to know that this place is just there and throwing a night at me if I want to just make shows or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I got this younger girl that wants to get involved with making the Pickle merch more expansive from like a designer perspective to like flex her creative muscles. And so combine that with like the distribution shit, and I'm trying to like build out like a team of people to like hustle the shit so that I could have all this merch, travel, and fucking sell that shit wherever I go. Because while it's wild gimmicky, it's really good when you meet people and they want to buy it impulsively, and there's a lot of potential to make some money before it burns out. So I'm gonna go fucking exploit the shit out of this Pickle merch and set shit up to make some money next year. Go into different fucking places and just bring in the Pickle shit, bunch of designs, make it better than it is now. Better quality clothes too. Because, I started buying like $150, $200 sweaters and they just fucking are nicer. And I just like, I'd rather sell nicer sweaters that are made better than the ones I made previously. Yeah, that's kind of what my week was like. A lot of Ubering and grinding out the shit, but yeah,
Yeah, I
work.
mean, similar to what you said about businesses, right? Like, I don't think it's just businesses. I was just telling, I was talking to DJ Hectech. Shouts out to DJ Hectech, Liddy Bros DJ. Um, we hadn't talked almost all summer. I have been just caught up, and we didn't really talk. And he was asking me how I've been, what I've been up to, and I'm just like, work, you know. And then now, when you talk to me about now, it's like, well, now I'm getting ready for the end of the year, right? So like right now, I'm working more than I usually would because I have a lot of plans for the winter. So I have to make money to supplement those plans and to make sure it's a good time, have my all, and get ready for Christmas. Because now that October's here, we're starting to get ready for Christmas. So it's just like they're getting ready for next year. We're getting ready for next year, you know, getting ready for the end of the year into next year, you know? So,
Oh yeah, Chris
yeah.
moved. Chris left my neighborhood and he left Montreal. Chris is no longer a Montrealer. He moved back
Word,
home to the South Shore, and since he's from there, he's just no longer a Montrealer.
word.
He visited for a while, and yeah, it was sad though, because now that Chris is not in the neighborhood, when shit pops up, it's like, yo, Chris is wildfire. So until he gets a whip, it's not so easy to get Chris to the random shit that pops up last minute now, as I discovered yesterday and felt sad without Chris being in the hood no more. It
Word.
was like, what, 8, 9 years
A new
or some shit
chapter,
like
a
that?
new chapter, a new chapter begins. A new chapter
Yeah.
begins.
He moved in with his
Congrats, Chris.
lady. He doing it
Oh,
bigger.
super congrats, Chris. Super congrats. That means things are getting more serious. Last time that we spoke, it was, I got a girl, but like, it didn't give me illusions of like, you know, we're gonna get married tomorrow. I mean, I still don't think that they're gonna get married tomorrow, but I'll tell
Me
you this
neither.
much: moving in together
It,
is a step towards a more permanent situation, regardless of any marriage certificates. I wasn't, Chris, just so that you know, right, or anybody watching, right? Like me and my wife have been together for 20 years now, and I've been calling her my wife for 20 years, but like we didn't get legally married until 5 years ago. So the first 15 years, there was no legal paperwork to, you know, back up the relationship in any way. And I would have left it that way if it wasn't for the fact that I ended up in a hospital with a pancreatitis, um, and they just wouldn't let my wife through, and they tried to act like because we weren't legally married, she didn't have as much rights as I said that she would, you know? Um, and so shit like that is like, you know what? Just in case shit. But I was always of the mindset of like, no judge, no priest, nobody speaks higher or verifies
You
a thing
guys
in my life more than I do. Like if I give you
gotta
my word, it's worth more than a judge giving you my word on my behalf. Like what? So
like
the judge says Dutch Vega promises to do X, Y, and Z. You're gonna believe the judge before you believe me? I don't recommend that. I promise you, I will not do what a judge says, but I will do what I say. You know what I mean?
like y'all don't have no like common law shit or some shit like that. Cause I'm pretty sure like in Quebec the
I
way
mean,
it
yeah,
works
and
is
no, yeah, no, yeah, and no. You know, yeah, and no. That didn't help at all in that situation, right? Or else we wouldn't have like started thinking about things in that regard. You know?
right. To be fair, I don't actually know if common law up here works with like medical shit, but I think it is like a functional version of marriage. But it might just be related to taxes and economics and like kind of stop there.
Yeah, probably. Probably related towards like, oh, you guys got a divorce, you do have to give her some money, you know, or
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
you
it's like
know,
that.
whatever. Anyway, let's move on, man. We've been on us for like a half hour already.
Well, that's what happens when it's 20 minutes, sorry,
True,
to
two
2 weeks
weeks
off.
also.
And
Two
then
weeks
it's
off.
going to be, here's a little spoiler, probably not on next week. So it'll then be 2 weeks of more updates and stuff. And, you know, it's our perspectives. We got to share ourselves with the world too.
True, true,
That's,
true, 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 true.
and,
All right.
it's,
But yeah,
see,
let's get to what we've been alluding to, right? Which is like it's the end of the year or it's heading towards it, right? And these things start coming up, which is like end of the year conversations, end of the year lists. Um, and this is the funny meme, right? That like happens every year where like you get told about, you know, you get reminded of the things that happened in the whole year through a meme,
yeah.
right? And this meme has become like it's the meme for the yearly stuff of like this is the monthly breakdown of the most important news. And so we covered this at the top of the year. Um
Yeah. Like we did,
and here
by,
we
we
are.
did.
We're gonna
Yeah,
cover
I'm
it
looking
again.
at it all. Cat
All right,
Williams really
so
did start off the year.
January, I've been telling people all year that it's the year of the hater. It's the year of the unhappy, bitter people being able to tear down successful people, right? Like
Mm.
Cat Williams started the year trying to tear down Kevin Hart and
And Steve Harvey, I
Diddy.
think.
I mean, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer.
Who went after?
He tore down a lot of people. I mean, he even took shots at Dave Chappelle inadvertently. He didn't take obvious shots at him, but like I'm the
Right.
type of person that as soon as you speak, as soon as you're speaking crazy, I'm taking everything that's coming out your mouth as spicy. So like it's one of those things where when he brought up Dave Chappelle, he didn't say fuck Dave Chappelle. He does this, he does that, but he critiqued certain things that Dave does, or like kind of like
Right.
pointed out the difference between himself and Dave type of vibe. The point being, he was taking shots at everybody. Diddy caught strays in there. Diddy has always been like catching strays, which is why, you know, this year
So
it feels like,
apparently on that, Diddy been catching strays since the 90s, to be honest.
oh,
He's just
Diddy's been
been
Diddy.
catching strays.
I can tell you from the very beginning of his career. Diddy, I remember hearing about the Howard Homecoming party that he threw, where people died in a stampede before, like exactly when I first heard Biggie for the first time. And
Mm.
then I grew up in New York City, where hip hop radio literally was born and grew up, right? So like our radio personalities are some of the most famous hip hop radio personalities, not radio, right? Like once we talk about radio, we're talking about a thing that the world has. And I'm pretty sure everybody around the world has their Howard Stern. Every country has their Howard Stern. And that's the
Yeah,
like
like
that's
we
the
got
guy.
George Strombolopoulos.
But like at the end of the day, hip hop radio is totally different. And that was born in New York City. That was born here, same as the culture was born here. Um, our radio personalities were some of the first famous radio personalities because they were the first radio personalities of hip hop radio. Um, so Wendy Williams used to attack Diddy constantly and allude to him being gay. Back when that still was like a thing, which was like outing somebody, right? Like nowadays that'd be frowned upon. Like if Wendy, like if that whole, like there's this thing that happens in Marvel Comics where like there's this thing called the Ultimate Universe, and like they redid all the superheroes storylines, but brought them to the modern day and age, right? So like Spider-Man didn't get bitten by a spider in 1963. He got bitten by a spider in 1999 or 2000 something when this
Right.
comic first came out. You know what I mean? And that's why he was Miles Morales. And so the point is that if Wendy Williams was trying to do to Diddy exactly what she did to Diddy on the radio back then, in this day and age, she would have been canceled, and Diddy
Would
would be
she
being
have?
champ. Yeah, she would
Maybe
have. She would
okay.
have been canceled.
So
She
let me
would have been
ask you that
canceled, and
question
Diddy would
again.
have been
What
being
if she?
championed, right?
What if
Because
instead of on the radio, she did the exact same shit on YouTube? Because you could argue that motherfuckers make hella cash doing exactly what Wendy Williams did on the radio on YouTube today. So I
yeah,
agree.
nah, that's
Maybe the
not what I'm
radio.
talking about. I agree. I agree that people are doing what Wendy Williams did on the radio on YouTube today. I agree with that, but they're not trying to out a person, right? Like let's sort of say, like we said, if Diddy's coming out in 2000 and something, right, as an artist for the first time, and he's dealing with a radio personality like Wendy going after him and trying to accuse him of being gay, literally, that's one of the things that, like, wow, LGBTQ people would be standing up against in opposition, regardless of if he did have a Howard Homecoming event that was like a party where people died because they got stampeded. Regardless of that, people wouldn't feel like you should be outed because that's just not a thing nowadays. You don't like that's literally like trying to out somebody is literally frowned upon in this day and age in modern society. So like that's all I'm saying is that she would catch an L for
I think the way
those
she did
actions.
it, yeah. Like
Yeah, no, I
there's
mean,
ways to
period,
allude to
really,
it, and
period,
you're
really.
good.
There's
Cause
ways to
like
allude to it if you're a straight male. If you're a
no,
straight
I mean
male, there's
it's
ways
more
to go about
like
it, but like everybody else is it
it's kind of
gets
more like
frowned
the
upon
queer
for it.
community is more the ones that would out you trying to find allies or people anyway. But like I get what you're saying. It's not the same thing as the way Wendy Williams vilified it or made it like a point of
Yeah,
how
it
she
was that
approaches
that was
everything.
part of people's beginning of their hatred, right? Like they already disliked Diddy because maybe he was already popular. It's the same reason people dislike Michael Jackson. It's the same reason you dislike anybody who's on TV all the time. They're on TV all the time, so you start disliking them. It's just how it is.
Right.
They're being successful. They keep on doing things. They keep on having projects that are in the mainstream limelight, and you're like, why the fuck does this person? And it's literally simple as like, well, they just did it once. So there was a guy in charge of a lot of money at the place where he worked, and he were like, yo, I'm gonna bet on you again. I bet if I put more money behind you this time, you really like that. That's literally how James Cameron happens, right? Like, how does James Cameron end up with Titanic and Avatar being what the first highest selling movie of all time, or really three because it happened with Terminator 2 too, right? But how do you get in all those places? You succeed. They gave him money to do Terminator, and he did it on a budget for what that is, right? And it succeeded immensely. And so they were like, you know what? You did a lot of good with a little bit of money. We're going to put a bunch more money in your pocket and we're going to gamble on you a couple more times. And we think we'll win and we'll strike it big. And then they did. They struck it big with Terminator 2. Then they struck it bigger with Titanic. Then they struck it bigger with Avatar, right? Like, let's just keep on dumping money behind this guy. He's gonna, and that's literally all that happens and that is, right? And so Diddy was a victim of that, right? And so I think that nowadays it'd be very much the same, but that Wendy Williams situation wouldn't. And that would
Right.
be a strike for her. Like, she would have gotten canceled, not Diddy. But like, nobody cares, right? Like, nobody really cares about like personalities. Like, people go away, you know. Tasha K has not been as salacious as as before Cardi B won that lawsuit. You know what I mean? DJ Academics has rape charges, allegations. Adam 22 gets laughed at on the internet every day. Vlad TV is like openly, like, I see the movement happening and Black people like supporting him less and supporting the art of dialogue more because they know that that's a Black man who basically just stole
So
his format. You know what I mean?
right, all of that is to say Diddy's being attacked because of him being present a lot.
But him being successful all these years. And
I
that's just what
mean,
happens. And so Cat Williams decided to set
right,
off
we're
the
talking
year
about in the context of January, right?
with January. And Cat Williams decided to set off the year with hate. And when you look at it, it's been a year of like just trying to tear people down. It's a tear down
Well,
year more than ever.
I think a
More than
lot of
ever.
people are wildly frustrated with the status quo because I do believe that a lot of people are lazy and entitled, but I also think that there's systemically some weird fuckery going on, especially when you start talking about macroeconomic trends versus microeconomic trends. Like, this is beyond the individual. It's just how like government bailouts are protecting rich people and a lot of weird shit's happening that actually makes
Yeah,
life kind of
but
harder. So you
Diddy's not that, right? Like, let's
no,
be clear. When we
but
talk about those people, like,
where I'm
those
going
people are
with it
like,
though.
right now we're talking about Cat Williams, right? And Diddy and Kevin Hart and a bunch of people that aren't the most successful. So like, if we're tearing
No,
down, if we're saying we're tired of the status quo and what is, white people who are in power are still in power. They're successful. None of this has affected them in the slightest bit at all in any
well,
way.
Harvey Weinstein got hit, like
Harvey
got one.
Weinstein's not even one of those people. Harvey Weinstein is
Fair.
like, that's like, I mean, he is more than, right, but like, that's one guy, right,
But
versus
I
like
do think that
a lot of
while
Black
a lot
people
of
that are successful being
people
targeted more
are
so
just
than all the
more
wealthy whites.
like a lot of people effectively have to work harder to maintain a standard of living than in the past, which is just kind of how things are going. And I think you should still work harder and go live your life because there is a threshold where it gets easier. But that has led to an anti-rich sentiment that has been going on for quite some time, and I really think it's starting to bubble, especially with election season kind of making everyone think about the economy again. But yeah, all that to say, I think that people are going after, billionaire types for anything. Because, I mean, people are trying to go after some of the white people like Elon, but they're not succeeding very well. But, like, a lot of people have turned on him, and a lot of people have turned on other billionaire types who, in the public's perception, have abused their position of power to some degree. Have they all toppled and fallen? No. But, I do think that it is a growing thing across all rich people. Unless you're like
Yeah.
Bill Gates' wife, who's just donating all her money anonymously and silently, and just she's like, "Fuck you, Bill. You're an asshole. I'm gonna go give away my money and show you how it's done." And she's kind of killing it. So shut up, Melinda Gates. She's actually pretty dope. Anyway, I like how the cup is there, because that cup was actually a big deal. I nearly bought one, but I ended up not buying one. But that was a huge trend because it survived the fire or whatever, and then that company sold a bunch of cars. It survived a car crash and a fire and everything.
Hmm.
And I dead ass don't remember who the other guy in January is.
He is the dude that leaped over um judge's seat in the courtroom and choked out the judge.
Fair.
It's like a
Yeah,
viral clip.
fair enough.
February was Alicia Keys and Usher or Alicia Keys with Usher at was that the Super Bowl or was that
I think it was one of the
his
award shows.
or was it actually his residency in Vegas? One of those three. And people tried to get Swiss Beats upset. Um yeah.
And
The picture behind them is of damn, I forget her name.
oh, is that
Blueface
Christian
and
Rock?
yeah,
Christian
there we
Rock.
go. Blueface and Christian Rock. I guess she got the tattoo of him on her face in February. I don't know.
I think it was
I
just the
wouldn't deem that
culmination
like
of their fucking
I wouldn't
fallout was
deem that
happening.
I wouldn't deem that like worthy of making it for the year calendar.
Well, maybe
But I
not like
would
her
deem
face thing, but their relationships fallout and everything that happened, like they were very much a huge part of the media up until they weren't.
word. And then they had Monique at the bottom because she went behind Cat Williams and tried to have as sensational of an interview as he did at Shannon Sharp, which is actually located between February and March, with one of the pictures that probably led to his IG live situations. Um, which is like people
Yeah,
alluding to him being gay because of how he dresses and acts, and the fact that his stylist is with him everywhere he goes, and his stylist is gay. So people
I
just been
mean,
like,
that's
"Why
such
won't
a
you come
weird
out of the
idea.
closet?"
But like, just in general, if you're a media personality, right? Like one of the most successful ones in Montreal is this guy Duke Eatman, and this guy has multiple stylists everywhere he goes. He's trying to be the best dressed motherfucker, custom suits, fucking colors out. Like he does not show up looking average. And I can tell you, this guy is very successful with women based on this effort that he puts into all of this shit. And having a gay stylist is probably helpful to your cause if you are trying to, look as good as possible. I'm not saying it
Yep.
exclusively, but it's not about to hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm not. I'm also not in agreement with stylists. I don't think anybody with a stylist is a person of great style. I think that classically, when we think back to all of the greatest moments and things in fashion or people in history with fashion, we're always thinking about people who had their own style and didn't need a stylist. I don't think anybody's ever like in there like an oxymoron would be winning innovative style at the fashion awards when you get styled by a stylist, because it would be
Right.
impossible, because a stylist is literally just somebody who's following style and curating what's next out of what's already picked, versus somebody who creates their own fashion, a designer maybe. Like when I was in high school, I would design my own shit. I would just do things that you couldn't get anywhere else and you couldn't find
Like,
anywhere else.
is it the
So
biggest deal for a guy like Shannon Sharp to have, let's say he has no taste? and he's in his
No,
50s,
it's
and all of a sudden,
that's a very again. I mean, I was saying for
right,
me personally, I don't respect somebody who has a stylist as somebody who's I would call fashionable. I would have never called somebody who has a stylist fashionable because I'm like, you're getting your style from somebody else. So you have no style of your own, really.
right,
But that's not at all. I don't even think that's the stylist thing. I don't think is the thing that people are pointing towards. I don't think that's what people are pointing at all. This might be
right.
one of those cultural things, you know what I mean? Where like, yo, uh, nobody's talking about him having Fabulous was on Love and Hip Hop at the beginning of Love and Hip Hop, and he had his child's mother and girlfriend at the time on the show, and she was a stylist to other people. Um, and I don't think anybody like was like, "Oh, Fab is gay because he's got a stylist." You know, that's just not what I don't. That's not what people are saying. You know, um, people are saying that he's probably gay not because his stylist, because he has a stylist, or even that his stylist is gay. Um, is that he keeps his stylist by his side, like Paris Hilton would keep her Chihuahua. You know, um, and
Maybe he needs to do multiple fit changes in a day. I
mhm,
don't know. I don't know.
who knows? I don't know. I mean, he went live, yo. He went live and had sex with a real woman. So
He
rumors put
proved
to
it.
rest.
However, that being said, over the course of history, many celebrities have had sex with women to the point of procreating to prove how straight they were, despite just being in the closet. So, did he really
Yes.
prove
All right.
anything?
Right. Right. He did not. Right. Like I'm laughing, hoping people get sarcasm, and that sarcasm comes across. But
Right.
like I've realized, don't nobody know me, and they don't
Nope.
know what the fuck I'm laughing at. So like, yeah, no, I'm laughing at the idea of that. The idea that having sex with a woman on live social media platform, which by the way, other people covered it, and like going live is super not like oh, I just pressed a button by mistake. It's just not the way that live works. Which is what I said from the beginning, which was like nobody goes live by mistake. Definitely not no old man. No old man goes live by mistake. He did that on purpose. Um, it all looks bad. It all looks really bad, in my opinion. I think that it does make him look more guilty. Like the way that people said about Drake by being like the way that he responded to, pedophile allegations and being like, oh, if I was a pedophile, I would have been arrested. And like everybody being like, that doesn't why would you say that? That doesn't prove you're innocent at all. And this having sex with a woman on Instagram Live is one of those that doesn't prove anything at all, sir. So if you
What it
were
does
hoping to
prove.
get people to stop calling you gay or stop insinuating that you were gay, let me give you some fucking cheap advice. Like, yo, you can save the publicist, you can save the eight spin agent, the spin doctors. Like, you don't need any of that. That
Yeah, let
this
me
isn't
get.
gonna work. That's not
You
gonna
know
work
what
at
would
all.
be what would be smarter to do if you're in that situation? Be ambiguous. Just be as ambiguous as possible. Literally have every social media post you have be a bunch of motherfuckers arguing about if you're gay or not. You will make so much more money doing that than worrying about it. Like for real. And then just fuck who you want and don't give a shit what people think. But don't try to prove to the internet anything. Cause yo, he's like a
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
podcasting.
I wouldn't give that advice. I wouldn't. I would say not. Don't fucking. Just live your fucking life and stop fucking worrying about
I
fucking
mean,
what people are saying online. You know what I mean?
if you want,
If
if you
if
may as
if
well make money off the shit.
I'm saying me personally, you know what I mean? That would be my advice. I wouldn't go with any of that, and I'd say fucking yo, live your fucking life and stop worrying about the fucking internet, what they're saying. Keep on doing when he put together the interview with Cat Williams, he wasn't thinking about the internet saying that they think that he's gay because he wasn't popular like that at that point. Like he was a
No.
person in media, but he wasn't a part of the zeitgeist and the cultural conversation like that. He became a part of the cultural conversation like that with that Cat Williams interview, and that immediately became one of the points. And so the point that I'm trying to make is that the way that he ended up getting successful wasn't by paying attention to people's, you know, predictions about his, you know, straight or queerness. You know what I mean? Like, just
Right.
fucking keep on doing what you're fucking doing, keep on succeeding at life, and do whatever has makes you happy. I don't know what the fuck you do behind closed doors, and I don't give a fuck. And the people that do give a fuck is neither none of their business, and clearly
It's not.
they haven't found out anything, right? Because there's no way to get behind your closed doors unless you invite them behind your closed doors, right? So like you could keep on being either gay or straight behind closed doors, and nobody would be the fucking wiser. You know what I mean? Um, so I would just
Fair.
recommend to just keep on doing that and not fucking worry about what the fuck the internet is saying at all in that regard.
But you
Worry
should
about what the
also
internet's
just
saying
be
if they're saying that your show is getting bad and they're gonna stop tuning in.
right.
That's when you should pay attention, and you should pay attention to what the criticisms are about your show that are making people not want to tune in. And if you can change those, then you should change those, right? Like Nori, maybe with the interruptions, he got criticized for that a long time. Um, there's just certain things that people do that you can be criticized for that it's like fair, yo. You know what I mean? Um, but if it's something like, you know, the way that you hold your fucking hand in the air, or the way that you put your hand on your face, or some other shit, it's like, well, that's just you being you. Like, there's nothing you could do about you being you. Keep on doing you being you. Don't worry about everybody else. Now, if they're giving you constructive feedback, then you should concentrate on what they're feeding you. But
Right.
like, you're gay is like, that's neither constructive
But
nor like,
like,
that shit has nothing to do
here's
with
the thing
nothing.
is though,
So
at the end of the day, the best thing that can happen on social media is for people to get into fights about irrelevant bullshit on your content. Like, I know it's maybe like something you like, you're right, you shouldn't care about it nor let it define you. But it's actually a blessing in the world of fucking social media reactions. And so it's like, if you're given a blessing like that, like, don't fight it. Just let it be and make that money off the situation, because you could put out a lot of content that gets no interactions. And if you're being given that gift and people want to fight about whether you're gay or not, that's irrelevant. And to your
yeah,
point,
but
that
then
has nothing to
doing
do with your
that,
content.
but doing that also is how you end up leaning into like, oh, let's do a skit about you being gay because everybody thinks you're gay, and it's just
Right.
like it begets cringe
But
shit
you don't have
that
to
also I would
indulge
I
it.
would I would also recommend against. You know what I mean? By ignoring it, what I was saying, by saying, yo, just ignore it, keep on doing you. It's literally ignore all of it. Ignore the people who are defending you about it, ignore the people attacking you about it, ignore everybody talking about it, because if it's not true, why would you breathe anything into that? Like, I wouldn't breathe anything into that's not true. If people were to be like, oh, you know, Dutch is a fucking habitual cat killer, I'm not fucking indulging that conversation, bro. I'm not fucking sitting here having that conversation with nobody. That's absurd. It's just stupid. And then just addressing it in any way is just like, well, now I'm breathing life into it. Now I'm breathing life into the shit that I don't like. I know is not true. Why would I do that? That just doesn't make sense. Leaving it alone is always, like, in my opinion, like the best.
Nah, I mean, you're not, like, I guess it's like you're not wrong, but it also depends on what your goal is. I get the feeling that the man wants to be a superstar in his own mind. Like, he really wants that life. So if that's what he wants, that's how a lot of these pop stars do it, is they employ those strategies. But in real life, they don't really care, or they're not supposed to care. They're supposed to, like, play with it but not really indulge it. Just do what they do, like you're saying. But anyway, I'm just saying it's a blessing if people are arguing about you in any way. And a lot of people get a lot of limelight out of nowhere, start seeing people arguing about them, and it like fucks them up. Like there's that Chapo Roan chick that's currently arguing with all of her fans because she became a star like overnight, and she can't handle the fact that people are fucking weirdos when you're a star. And she has some valid points, but it's like it's a thing that happens, and I think a lot of people don't really know how to handle it when it happens. So to your point, if you can't handle it, especially, don't indulge it.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Moving on, in March, the feds raided Diddy, and the documentary about the Nickelodeon guy came
oh, that's
out.
what that guy is. Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah.
then the homie with the outfit became he got social media fied when a girl tried to embarrass him over his outfit, and the internet fought back on his behalf. Was like, his fit is perfectly fucking fine. What are we talking about here? Um, and then in April,
What's the top of
shouts
that?
to Aries.
What's like the cops and shit at the top of March?
That's the feds. That's the feds raiding Diddy.
Oh.
Feds
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
raid the guy
Right.
underneath them. Then shouts to all the April babies, Aries in the house, and some tourists are in the house as well. If we're talking about April, um, Chris Brown. There was the full moon eclipse. Um,
Mm.
there was the which was like a once in a hundred something years phenomenon, right? Like this eclipse. We've been
Yeah. It
through other
was.
eclipses, but this eclipse was like a type of eclipse that only happens once every hundred, where the sun gets in front of the moon. No, the moon gets in front of the sun, or something like that.
Yeah. No. The next one will be 2044.
Um, right. And
Yeah. Just.
then there
Yeah.
was Chris Brown versus Quavo. There was a 4.8.
Oh yeah.
There was a 4.8 earthquake in where was that? Where was the earthquake?
I'll Google it, but I do not remember off the top of my head.
Was that in New York?
Oh, it was rattles the East Coast.
Yeah, it was a New York earthquake. Right, that's right. There was an earthquake around my birthday. Um,
Right.
there was, I don't know what the fuck this bear with the guy right next to the earthquake is. That I don't remember.
Is that the
Um,
man versus bear fucking meme where women were like, I would choose a bear in the
oh
woods over
right,
a
the man
man?
versus bear meme started. Right. Yup. Right. Then
Right.
Quavo eating a glizzy. Um,
I don't remember
and
that.
I can't remember who this couple is. There's a couple there that's in April. I
No
forget what
idea.
that was about. Yeah, I forget what that was about. Then comes May.
But yo,
The
just to
shit
that
we've
point,
been
it's like we're only in September, right? Like September
right.
30th for those not checking dates. But like half of this shit feels like it was so significant at the time. Like it mattered so much. And frankly, we're forgetting like not most of it, we're
Yeah,
forgetting chunks of it already, and it was just months ago.
forgetting. Right, right. I tell people this shit all the time. And I mean, this show has really shown that to me. Um, how like times change, but like nothing really changes, and like the shit that we're covering is like the same shit over and over again.
Right.
I see patterns in the media and in the news. I just see patterns a lot easier the older I get, and I feel like I see patterns like flaring up all over this news cycle stuff. Mm. Anyway, um, then in May we got what we've been talking about ever since fucking May, which is Drake versus Kendrick. Um, there was also the school teacher that got fired for letting his students braid his hair, and Meg the Stallion at Vanity Fair. Or was that something else? I forget. Uh, the point is, Drake versus Kendrick. Yo, there's some of this stuff is irrelevant, right? Like if
Right.
we go through the first 4 months, I go through that first line, I would say the top most important thing is Cat Williams and Diddy.
Yeah, I would say Diddy for sure. The rest of it is
Diddy and
nothing
Cat
burgers.
Williams. Diddy and Cat Williams are the biggest things in the first four. And then as soon as we get to that May, listen, Drake versus Kendrick is uber important. Like that has lasted the whole year. Like that should be in May, June, July, August, and September because we're in September right now, about to be in October, and we're still talking about it. And as long and until we get to February or January, February, when they have the Super Bowl, we're still going to be talking about um uh uh
I
uh
don't. I don't
not
think
like
this is gonna
us,
end, right? Like,
not like us. They're going to be talking about not like us in February, right? And that is 2 months away from getting to May and making a year, right? So like that is definitely one of the most, probably the most important thing that happened this year, I would say, is Drake versus Kendrick. Um, it's the
I
news
mean,
that has not stopped giving
the
and
most.
has not
Okay,
stopped
okay.
being covered and has
I
not
would.
stopped feeding itself. Like
I would definitely
it's a
say
hydra.
Diddy. Diddy
It's a hydra.
is Diddy is
Diddy
100% bigger
also.
than the
Nah,
Kendrick versus Drake. Also, the presidential election has not failed to disappoint and hadn't really picked up steam by then, so we haven't yet talked about it. But of the
I don't
year,
know. I don't think
man,
that so far
because
this
like
year so far
Kendrick
nothing
versus
has come out
Drake
of that.
flared the fuck up, but like high key, it's not really a topic right now. Like there are some people who are trying to make it a topic, but outside of certain circles, nobody gives a fuck. And it's like, yo, I've been at events where the songs come on and like people don't even really sing along and shit. Like something I found out about social media recently is just that unlike maybe like 6 7 years ago, it's like really siloed right now. So like the people on Twitter are just the people on Twitter and nobody else really knows what the fuck's happening on Twitter, and like the same thing's going on Facebook and Instagram. So like it's hard to fully gauge the total level of popularity of some of this shit. But if I were to guess, I would say that Trump is currently the most popular thing, followed by Diddy. Trump and Biden, or whatever, just because the election's still active. But and then Trump got shot twice. He's kind of got a lot going for him right now in terms of biggest and impactful stories.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree. But it don't matter. Let's keep it moving. The next thing in June was Biden versus Trump and then the NBA championship. The Celtics won. Uh then came July
Oh, hold on.
and
Biden versus Trump was big, right? Because that led to Biden fucking retiring and shit. I'm pretty sure. So like, 'cause that's the debate where he like blanked the fuck out and like was really in poor performance and whatnot. I would say that's a huge moment of the year.
uh, I don't know, man. I don't. I haven't really viewed it like that at all. But again, um, different perspectives. That's what the show's about. Then in July we got I think that black jet is Diddy's jet. Diddy's jet got
Right.
raided or something like that. Um, that dude with the gun in his hand is the meme about how Turkey was like number one at shooting in the Olympics, but America is the one that has all the
Nah, it
shooting,
was more
school
to give him
shooting.
his fair justice. It's because he pulled up at the Olympics with no protective gear, nothing special on his gun. Everyone else, when you look at the shooters, looks like a fucking cyberpunk weirdo with extra goggles and glasses and magnifiers. He pulled up with regular ass glasses, went pop, 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 and won a silver. And he did it
Well,
casually,
the
like
pop
he
pop
gave
pop.
zero
I
fucks.
was gonna I was gonna say the only thing that I would say is really like the differentiator is the hand in the pocket. That's the differentiator.
And the eye
That's
gear.
what really. Nah, I mean I don't really think anybody was really fucking
No,
caring
I
about that
saw
shit or noticing that shit.
that
It's
was
really
part
just
of
that hand in that pocket.
I think it's all of it because I saw people talking about how like he just like everyone else tried hard and he just looked like the most casual, not give a fuck. I just can also like he just impulsively became a guy. His life's a fucking mess and like his whole story is fascinating. Like he's a cool guy. He's a guy you'd want to just get a beer with and then never talk to again.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is the meme. Then Trump got shot. Ray gun embarrassed breaking at the Olympics. Biden, what was that? That Biden
Yeah, he
stepped
quit.
down as
Yeah.
yup. And then I don't know about this blue guy.
No, the blue guy
I don't
is the
remember.
when the France opening ceremony and they did their shit
Oh
and it
right,
became a
they
meme because
right, right,
everyone thought
right,
it was mocking religion and shit.
right, 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 right.
I'm not sure who the black guy
Oh,
is.
Ray gun, for as big as it felt in the moment, like like it won't
Nah,
people won't remember this years from now. Um People won't remember the guy with the fucking gun. You know what I'm saying? Um, uh, I don't know if Trump shooting is going to be remembered, but out of everything, I think that's
I
probably the most
think
memorable thing
you,
there.
I
Um,
definitely think Trump shooting is gonna be remembered if he wins, but if he loses, we're not really gonna talk about Trump shooting. And a lot of the
yeah,
Trump news is gonna be related to who wins in
yeah,
2020. Well, November. I think your election's in November.
November, yeah. Um, then August, the men's basketball team won gold at the Olympics. Um, Simone Biles won gold at the Olympics. That white woman under her is a former teammate that was throwing shade at her and talking shit, and then the internet roasted her, and she was asking Simone to help her. It was pretty embarrassing and cool. Um, I don't know why Nelly's there. Uh,
Um,
oh, that's right, his DWI. I don't know why his DWI would be there, but not Justin Timberlake's then. Because if we're counting DWI, Justin Timberlake just finished fucking getting in front of the fucking Long Island News. He was getting super sloshed out in Montauk and got fucking pulled over for almost murdering people. Anyway, and
well,
then
he
I
had
don't know who that.
ecstasy. I don't know if that counts for anything. That's what Nelly got caught with.
I don't know, but
Oh, and then
I
the
do know
Chinese girl
that.
who bit the fucking metal because she didn't know you were supposed to bite the metal and looked at it all like cutely and she became a meme.
I don't even know what that is. Um,
She base
and
yeah,
then
she bit
September just finished today. In a couple hours, it's over. I don't think anything else will make the news that'll fucking affect this much.
I was gonna
But the
say,
news,
how is Eric Adams not there? Unless he's there and I don't see him, cause your
nah,
mayor
he's
got
not there.
indicted and shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That should definitely be there. People are saying. I don't even know who the fuck that guy in the blue is between fucking Kamala and Trump.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know either.
then there's Cardi making it there at the last minute with her argument with Offset.
That is
Diddy
some wildly
with the
spicy drama.
with his baby oil, and Shannon Sharp, I believe, for the live is there.
Yeah. And then Kamala
Uh,
Harris took on Trump in the debates and made him look a little silly.
yeah, that's the year so far. I
Hold on.
mean, I
I gotta
definitely
say
think
one thing. The Hawk Tuah girl wasn't nowhere there, but currently she has the #3 podcast on Spotify. And that's stupid that she has the #3 podcast on Spotify. As in, I don't know how the fuck she did this, but she has somehow managed to do something profitable because if she can even hold the top 20 position, she's set for life off of a stupid fucking meme. And that was something I found out earlier today, and I looked at it, and I'm like, that Hawk Tuah girl is nowhere here. But arguably, of the meme people, I think she's having the best year. Yeah, but all right. I guess that's that for the year's recap.
Yeah, we will see if there's anything that. What's your top three? Uh, what are your top three moments of the year so far? And do you
Like
think
with
that
my life, or
they'll
like
stay the?
the
No, I'm talking about that are on that calendar.
um. So I think the Drake versus Kendrick thing is going to be something that will die down, but in like 5 to 10 years will be permanently canonized as something that people talk about. Like it's not going to go away, but it might not ever flare up to the level of popularity, but it will stick. I think Diddy's indictment is absolutely, it's huge, right? Like I was watching this video that pointed out that with Diddy being indicted, you have the leaders or some of the biggest record executives of the East and West Coast now both locked up in jail at the same time, which is a wild thing to think about considering that between him and Suge Knight, they may have had some of the biggest impact on modern music of any humans, like period. And they're both in jail right now. And has some crazy shit. So I do think that that's gonna last. And if Kamala Harris wins the election, that shit's gonna be the biggest thing. And if Trump wins, probably him getting shot and whatnot will be. He will not let him getting shot die if he wins. So we will hear about that for the next 4 years if that man wins the election. And that will make it part of foreverness. That would be my top three.
Yeah, I think it'll be Drake and Kendrick, Diddy, and I don't know. I think there's something else that has an opportunity to come in between the next 3 months and be like the biggest thing of the year. If not, then I'd say that it'll end up being a coin toss for me between the
Mm.
presidency and Cat Williams.
Also, as far as shit that's not on this list that probably should have been brought up, or is, well, maybe not on the list, but as biggest things of the year is the whole Israel Palestine protest momentum that has really exploded.
Yeah,
It isn't necessarily qualified in 1 month because it's kind of been a year round thing, but like
yeah,
just today, they vandalized Concordia University. Smashed the fucking windows downtown Montreal, fucking free Palestine and shit. And so that would be like something I think is almost more significant than most of the shit going on. But if there was something to predict, what I think could take over is going to be something related to the Ukraine war, which, let's say Trump wins, that war is done by December, and that would absolutely trump the entire fucking year, no pun intended. And then, yeah, otherwise, something related to Israel, Palestine, like they just killed the leader of Hezbollah. So, like, something related to that could take over the year too, if we're like being
yeah,
real about stuff that could affect us
yeah.
back home and on our news cycle.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know what else.
Um, but yeah, I think that those two are the major two, and the third I will reserve for the end of the year once all 3 months are filled up, and we cover this again in January.
Fair enough. I will say just before we move on that it is September 30th, which is the official Truth and Reconciliation Day, which is an official government holiday that the Trudeau government authorized on September 30th so that they could take the day off and feel bad about how they treated Indigenous people. It's related to all the dead kids that were found in the schools and how in while the government's taking their day off, people like Bonnie were out there protesting for the fact that the government hasn't actually done anything. So there's a bunch of like, here's shit you can do to actually make this situation better. There's a bunch of different charters, and the government's done none of it. But they got paid to chill at home today and did not have to work. So that's why people be wearing orange in the city and shit. I just wanted to shout that out.
Well,
Um, See, I guess we could go to cinematic perspectives then. Just give
Cinematic
me a
perspective.
second as I move over on the doc file. Get that ready. We're gonna watch some trailers. Yo, Bonnie has a trailer she got excited for. I will say that since we've done this, there's been more excitement for trailers in my apartment. And
I've definitely learned a lot about trailers that I didn't know before, and I've always been an avid trailer watcher. But like, I've learned a lot in this process. Let's get to it.
yeah, I'm good now.
Got, got 5
2
lined
years
up.
ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
You want me to call you Arthur or the Joker? Take me back to that night on stage. What's changed?
Well, I'll tell you what's changed. I'm not alone anymore.
You can do anything you want.
Don't you think it's a little too much?
A little much.
Who am I speaking to now? Which one of you is here?
So you don't think this is me? Look at all these people. Who do you think they see?
You're Joker.
Joker. Get tickets now. Only in theaters October 4th. Rated R.
I feel
Joker.
like
Folie à Deux.
a lot of people, regardless of the quality of that movie, are going to obsess about that movie.
I mean, Joker is always, and Harley is always, but I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think so. But go ahead, finish what you're saying. What else do
I
you
just
think about
mean
this
it more
movie?
like that. I think it looks like it has potential to be a good movie, but it might set people up for very high expectations who are very obsessed with Joker and Harley Quinn because they do have such a passionate fan base that whether it delivers or it fails to deliver, it's going to result in people very passionately going on about this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I
think
maybe I don't think I'd watch it, to be honest. Just
Word.
because, man.
I'm gonna watch it. I watch all this stuff, right? I get to 90% of everything that we watch on trailer at some point or another.
It
Some of
does
this
look
stuff I
better.
watch in theaters. Some of this stuff, most of this stuff I watch at home. I'm gonna watch it. I don't think that it'll have the same effect that all the previous Harley and Joker stuff has had. I think it's just one of those things. Sometimes you try for a thing and you do not get that thing that you try for.
Right.
But when you don't try for that thing, you get it over and over and over again, right? And like with all the Jokers, the Heath Ledger Joker and the Batman Dark Knight, the first Joker movie of this one with even the Joker movies, even the Suicide Squad movies where Joker was played by what's his name from 30 Seconds to Mars or whatever is the name of that group. Anyway, Bon, give me the answer. Anyway, with that guy and his Joker, like there's just always this constant like, oh yes, there's a Joker coming out. Like even if it's good or bad, we're gonna dress up as this Joker this Halloween. I don't know if this one will have that effect.
Right.
I think that they're reaching for it, and I don't judge these movies until I watch them myself by the reviews that I see. But I definitely have seen a lot of bad reviews for this movie already. So that already tells me that like the critics, it's either going to be like a big divide between the critics and people out there, or they're going to be in line with each other. I don't know. Word. Look forward to
Yeah.
watching it when I do watch it. I think that Joaquin Phoenix is the best Joker that we've ever seen. I think his twisted, crazy version of the Joker is better than all of them. Better than Heath Ledger, better than all the people who played the Joker, better than Jack Nicholson, better than the actor that is the Luke Skywalker guy who played Joker's voice in the original animated Batman series. Anyway, yeah. Let's move on. Next trailer.
Boom.
Cocinero, enciende bien la candela. Para con esmero.
Es el que se está escondiendo, el del 21. Se ha comido la carne de la pizza y el lomo del cochinillo.
Que el futuro es mío puro, que el futuro es mío puro. Señor, nada siente ni quiso pasar. Lo veo.
¿Qué busca en el hoyo?
Tiempo.
Con el carbón.
You ever seen the Platform One, Holden?
I did not know.
Word.
I feel like if I stumbled onto it by accident, it would be like something I'd watch. But I don't know if I'd go out of my way for it. But if I did watch it, the ideal circumstance would be while working out.
I watched the Platform One. I remember when it first came out. That was kind of like one of the first. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't one of the first, but I could have sworn it was one of the first like viral movies that Netflix had that they made themselves. That like everybody was like talking about. But like I'm probably bugging. Like there probably were a bunch before then. But definitely, I remember everybody talking about the Platform when it first came out back in the days, the first one. And it was crazy. It was a good movie. It was like one of those like Old Boy or The Raid, one of those movies that were foreign and were just dope and violent, gory as shit. Yeah, I look forward to seeing this coming out this weekend on Netflix. Let's watch it again. Next trailer.
Cool.
Well, you had mentioned that we might be playing some games tonight. Do you still want to play games? Yeah, I want to play games tonight, man. Before I open this suitcase, this is just some needs to stay in this room type shit. So, no phones out or anything, okay?
Bro, that's like telling Nikki not to breathe and shit.
Wait, Forbes. What is that?
You just want to take these electrodes and place them on your temples like so.
Damn, bro.
If you think of your brain as a hard drive, then this just transfers the files.
Oh my God.
Okay, so everybody ready? It's trippy, huh?
See that? That's my body. This game is kind of hot.
What did you sweat? What did you do? He did something! I'm freaked out right now, okay? You're acting like a different person.
Well, look at me. I am a different person.
What did you do?
It is us against them. Oh my... Right?
Yeah. No. I don't know. What the fuck? What is wrong with you? Hey, what the... Shut up!
What? It is us against them. Us against them.
Wow.
Yeah. Trippy.
That looks nifty. I don't really know if it'll be. It'll either be like really interesting and like a fun movie, or it'll be really corny. And the best part was the trailer. But I'm curious because I can't think of a lot of movies like that, and I could see that being something fun to watch while I'm doing some multitasking shit. Yeah.
Work. I'm gonna watch it. I'll put the trailer here because I'm gonna watch it.
Right. Fair enough. Next trailer.
Did I ever tell you about me grandfather?
And the brother.
As close could be, until his brother sailed to America and they never spoke again. I want you to find our American family and make things right.
All right, Dad.
Now! I want you to call them now.
Hello, not interested. Hello, I am your cousin, Kieran.
And he wants you to just go to Ireland. What's the worst that could happen?
Cousin Barry from America. Dad, your great nephew, Barry.
Never thought I'd live to see it.
The good Lord granted Fergus such a full life.
Till the American arrives.
Jesus, your father left half of everything to Barry.
Who's to say that my dad wasn't still alive when Barry entered the room?
You need to tell him about the will.
Can you believe the balls on this guy?
Why should this ass keep your half?
Okay, I want you to look something up for me. It sure is lovely here. Which is why I decided to build here. Huh? Slunt you.
You dirty.
You want to play games with me, pal? Bring it on.
We'll see about that.
Oh, yeah, we will see about that.
Up against the car, please.
Hey, that's certainly not legal.
You are petty and angry at everyone but yourself.
Jesus Christ.
Shame.
Sneaky bastard. I don't think I'm petty.
That looks like it'll be a fun, feel-good family adventure movie.
That's some white ass shit, bro. I'm gonna watch it though. I'm not kind of white ass
Fun,
shit.
feel-good family adventure movie. But yeah, and then I don't know. I think my mom would really like that movie more than I would watch it.
Monsters.
Yeah.
It's good to have the gang back together again.
Ain't this old man Carruthers' property?
I've heard stories about him. Some people think he was a spy, bank robber. I bet their bodies are buried somewhere on this property. That's one in.
Tracy there.
What is that?
A teenager is recovering today after nearly drowning.
Hey, Ben. Something happened to Ben that I can't explain. It's like he's a zombie at Night of the Living Dead.
You okay, bud?
Oh my!
What are you nuts?
Hey guys, it's okay. I invited him.
Easy, fella.
This is Gene. He's a detective.
Retired. Well, there's more of you. I'm gonna have to dig a mass grave now.
What? Something is out there. If we sit around and do nothing, kids are gonna get hurt, including us. It came after me, man. What came after you?
There's definitely something weird going on here. Monsters.
Yeah. You guys ready?
Not us. Who? Let's do this.
The kids have this vacant look in their eyes. Lights are on, nobody's home. You are overreacting. It's just kids being kids.
Gene. Hey, Gene.
No, I thought I told you.
Gene?
That scene at the beginning was straight out of fucking Sandlot with the bikes in the backyard of Mel Gibson and talking about him like.
But yeah, not
when,
really.
When I watched that with the wife, she was like, "Oh, they're making the Sandlot over." I was like, "Nah, it's just another coming of age flick."
Right.
I think this is Mel Gibson's way back in.
Yeah, it's not really the kind of movie I would watch much. So I'm probably gonna pass on that one.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm a fucking lover of coming of age stories.
Yeah, fair enough. So what are you up to in the upcoming week?
Work. Big job coming through. Got to get back in the studio, finish out Paulie's album, and get that out first. So got to release Paulie's album. So just a bunch of work when it comes to the music. What about you?
On Wednesday, I'm doing that dinner shit again from that app because I see a whole angle of promoting music to people who are willing to spend $100 to go out for dinner. So I'm like, well, this seems like a good group of people to start mingling with. And I'm going to keep mingling with them because they're also people who want things to do in life. And that's a hard combination to find organically, I find. So just having this app do that, I'm going to keep playing with it. Plus, I like the food. Otherwise, I don't know. The last 3 weekends have been very busy, and I feel like I really should probably spend more time on a few chores that I put off and some like at-home shit because it's good to do that sometimes. And then I can probably Uber all weekend, but like spend more time at home and not time trying to go to shows or anything because yeah, I have to renew my license, I think, and a few other shits because my birthday's coming up. So I need to go make sure everything's in order. I digress. I don't know if I have plans or not. I think there's like a couple of things floating around, but I don't know what I'm actually going to do, so I'll wait to see how the week unfolds and kind of play it by ear. And I know I have to shoot some food, but I'm just looking forward to being home and catching up on sleep a bit. And yeah, that's kind of the week. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the show, everyone. Appreciate you all coming through. Thanks, Lindell, Chris, and Bonnie for being with us today. We will not be back next week, as was said to you earlier in the show, but just as a quick reminder, but we will be back the week after. So let us know in the comments what you think about anything. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. Appreciate, again, everybody who is watching us and coming through every time. We really do appreciate it. And live long and prosper, everyone.